Welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Rewind. I'm Cody Christian. I'm joined by my co-host Chris Becker. We're rewinding and recapping last week for Nintendo. We'll be talking today a little bit about the My Nintendo Gold Points program as well as game vouchers. But before we dive in to that news, Christopher, how's it going, my good friend?
Oh, good. How the heck are you?
I'm doing good. I just beat Metroid Dread on my own stream on hard mode. I'm not playing it in Dread mode, mind you. I will never play it in Dread mode. It's one-hit kills, and I'm not interested in doing any of that. Like, that's just not going to happen. I promise it's never going to happen. You can count on me to never make that happen. It's not going to happen. But that being said, Metroid Dread's a really good game. Like, it is a really good game. And I remember selling that game whenever I was working at GameStop to a lot of people, and then immediately getting it returned because it was quote unquote too hard for them, to which I always would make fun of the customer that was bringing it back asking to return it. And I was like, no, it's a new game. You can't return it. You open that seal. Also, was it too hard for you, little baby? So like, it was so mean, but it was so funny to do back in the day. But that being said, like, I don't know, I had a really good time with it in hard mode even. But have you played Metroid Dread? Do you like Metroid Dread? I don't know if that's necessarily your type of game, but it might be.
Metroid Dread, yeah. I beat Metroid Dread. I beat Metroid Dread. I like Metroid Dread. I like Metroid games. I mean, the whole I almost said something that you would have been upset about.
What were you about to say? What could you possibly say that would upset me?
What could I say that would probably something like emu or well, maybe that
Emu,
wasn't
emu. They're getting free publicity right now. Liberty Mutual. Sponsor us.
yeah, sponsor.
I want to be sponsored by the emu. I told you she'd complain, didn't I? I told you. I forgot to run ads. let me just clarify. I forgot to run ads before we got the show started. And I went, dang it. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and run ads. Sierra's probably going to be upset about it because she's going to miss the first 2 minutes of show. So I literally said that before I did it. Did I not, Chris?
You did. Before we started the show, you said that you were like, watch, Sierra's going to say something about the ads. And she did. She said something about the ads.
Oh, man. I try to remember to run those every
you did
time.
It on purpose,
I did not do it on purpose.
No.
I try my best to run the ads. If you're, by the way, YouTube chat, if you're over there watching us on YouTube and you're hanging out with us, there, note that on Twitch, we're monetized over here. And we have to run ads, and I usually try to remember that's why the timer is as long as it is, 5 minutes long, so that way I can make sure that I have time to run the ads before the show actually starts, and we get an hour and a half of uninterrupted me and Chris talking about Nintendo time. Unfortunately, I forgot to do it today during the countdown, and so I made a mistake, and now Sierra's mad at me in the live chat.
Cody and I have something in common. Listen, what I will tell you is this.
Tell me.
I am also whoa, rude. I am also monetized, or whatever you said. Mm-hmm. What is it called?
Yeah, it's monetized.
Over on Twitch. Mm-hmm. I never hit the automatic ad button. It's just a Cody thing. So he did it on purpose.
That's a lie.
Let it be known.
That's a lie.
Emu.
It's not.
Yes.
No. Hold on. You have to run ads. If you never run ads, that you were still running ads, but you're getting stuck with pre-rolls. So people are getting hit with the ads when they come into your channel as soon as they come there, and I hate that.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm here for.
I try to run them manually.
Get there. Yeah. Because he hates me.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Why? I will not tolerate this slander.
No, well, we were busy. We were doing the pre-show, so we didn't have time to start it up ahead of time and do the ads. We were very,
we're very busy people. We're so very busy people.
We were very busy. I have some news for you.
News?
Something awoken in me tonight that I didn't even. Okay.
There are two wolves inside of Chris.
Yes, two wolves.
One is a nerd. The other one is also a nerd.
I did something for the first time ever in my life. Not just first time ever. Okay, so the reason why I was hesitant to say anything is because I have two earbuds in, one in the computer, the other one in my phone, and I was listening to how to say this because I had the Bulldog ramen for the first
wait, and no Bulldog, or is it a specific Bulldog ramen?
The black label.
Okay, the super spicy chicken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The ramen. Yeah, I've never had ramen before in my life. This was the first day I've ever had it. Yeah.
Well, I know you don't like soups.
I'm not a big soup fan except for cereal.
Soup anti-soupist.
He hasn't ever had ramen. Here's the thing. When Sierra and I talk and it's not in this chat,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
she's more understanding when I tell her these ridiculous things about myself. And then we come and chat, and she just starts yelling them.
She wants to rip
Like,
on everybody. It's just kind of her thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
She was born to do this to you.
Right. Soup. I don't do soup except for Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
I'm not getting back into this. This is cereal a soup discussion, but what awoken in you beyond the spicy soup? Did you have to go use the bathroom really bad, like immediately? Oh, just wait till later. Just wait till later.
Halfway through the show, I'm gonna just let you know.
It's gonna be flaming hot.
Yeah. No, but I am certain. Yeah, if I shout emu, just know. Just
is that like
cover
your
the
safe
dead air.
word for poop?
That's a safe word if the ramen.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but no.
Well, what did you think of it? Now that you've had a ramen,
it was pretty good. Yeah. It was very noodly.
You like noodles?
Well,
SpaghettiOs. Those are a noodle.
I don't like. Don't get me started on spaghetti. I don't like SpaghettiOs. I coughed. Yeah, I did cough because it was spicy.
It was very spicy. How do you handle your spice? Do you like spice?
I do like spice. Yeah, I believe we've talked about this multiple times.
On the show?
Named my son Dashel. I almost named him Buffalo because I like buffalo chicken.
No, you've never told me that. I thought you were going to name him Buffalo because you live close to Buffalo, New York.
No, absolutely no. What? No. It was because I like buffalo chicken, and I came up with Buffalo William because his mother's dad's name is William. So I was like, it would be like, for your. I told you about this, didn't I?
No, you told me about you told me about all the rest of that, but you never once mentioned that it was because you like buffalo sauce.
Yeah, because I like buffalo chicken cheesesteaks and buffalo chicken stromboli, buffalo. Have you ever had buffalo cheesesteak stuffed pizza?
No.
Okay.
I don't feel like cheesesteak blends well with buffalo, though, man. Like, that just sounds like such a weird combo.
No, I'm telling you. Listen, let me come down to my place. We're going to...
That will be up. I'll come up. I'll come up to your place.
Listen, you're going to come here.
North is up.
You should have called them ulcers. They gave you one. Well, I got an ulcer, but that's only because I ate too much buffalo. I like how Sierra's just giving out my medical history.
I will be honest here, though. She says in the live chat, buffalo isn't spicy, though. And I have to agree with her. Like, buffalo's not really all that spicy. You say you like spicy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I like...
Well, okay, let me ask you this. You go to B-Dubs. You go to Buffalo Wild Wings, right?
Mm-hmm.
What sauce are you getting at Buffalo Wild Wings?
Depends, because I'm a sucker for if they have, like, some new... fancy flavor that they never had before, I will try that. But then I also get, you get part of it, that, and then you get the other ones.
You're not specifying if they have a new flavor, you get part of it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they got a new, whatever the new flavor is, summer sandy sauce.
I don't remember summer shandy sauce. Summer shandy sauce.
Summer shandy sauce, yeah.
Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's what.
What was it supposed to be?
Okay, that's
made with Linnenkugel Summer
Sierra
Shandy. The sauce hits you with a powerful lemon punch that complements its malt flavor. Yes, I'm over 18. Don't ask me that. Hang on. Where is the rest of it?
What? Are you over 18? What site are you on?
Read it, and it was like, are you over 18? And I was like, yes. Made with Linnenkugel Summer Shandy, this sauce hits you with a powerful lemon punch that complements its malty flavor. That sounds... a malted hot sauce? That sounds awful. It complimented nothing, she says in the live chat. By the way, welcome in, Kiatic. It is super tasty. I like buffalo, but it's not like my number one go-to spicy sauce or even like sauce in general. Buffalo is like low on my list
No,
of the
it's
one
like
that I hit.
mild. It's like, yeah, it's not. Um, I like it when it is hot. It's it depends who I'm eating with. Like my boys,
Mhm.
Dashel,
What, they don't like when you
Flint.
eat spicy food?
Well, no, if I'm sharing it with them.
Oh, okay, that changes everything.
Right, yeah. Like well,
I mean, if I was
growing
sharing wings with my children, I would have to do honey barbecue because they are
yeah.
7 and 5 would die if I gave them Asian zing.
Right, yeah. I remember when Flynn was like 5 and 6, he from the ages of when he could eat and talk.
Or 8 and 5. Holy crap, I forgot. Trip just had his birthday. 8 and 5.
Dash has his birthday in 2 days.
Ooh, happy early birthday, Dash.
Happy early birthday, Dash. Yeah, but Flynn would be like, he'd be like, I don't know, this ketchup is a little spicy. And I was like, sir,
it's
you
just
need to watch
tangy. It's not spicy.
Yeah. He's like, it's a little spicy. And now he eats like really spicy food, but
he was born so white.
yeah, he was. Yeah.
I remember I had cracked black pepper on some food and I gave it to the kids and they were like, this is hot. And I'm like, no, it's not. Eat it and be happy. It's cracked black pepper. It's not that hot. But like my go-to, okay, so my go-to, if I'm just picking my own wings at B-Dubs, let me look at B-Dubs wing sauces. I'll tell you what I usually go for. I always get the Asian zing, because it is a nice sweet and spicy, and it does do a good amount of heat. And then mango habanero is what I want to do most of the time. I don't like the dry seasonings
right now.
I don't like the dry.
You got the sauces?
Yeah, I got the sauces here.
Yeah, I don't like the dry. I got it. I got it up.
Okay. Hot and spicy garlic. Get wild and blazing for your fries. Listen, the spicy garlic is fine. But if I'm doing the garlic, I usually try to get the Parmesan garlic. Gasping for breath. Does this have tomato in it?
Yeah.
Welcome in, Mnemonic Man.
Well, Flynn.
Oh, stick with some Frank's hot sauce. Hot sauce. Frank's Red Hot's good. You can put that crap on everything. It's a good take. What's your go-to, Chris? Come on. You got the menu pulled up.
I got the menu pulled up.
It's almost like asking you to do your order right now. I'm the waiter and I'm standing right there. And what do you get? An impulse right now. I need it. I need to go on to the next table. Don't tell me to come back. I don't have time for it. We're at Dick's Last Resort here.
So normally I will, if I'm getting, let's say I get 20 and I break it into 5 sections of 5.
Ooh, 5.
I'm that guy. Yeah.
That's
5.
Ooh.
So 4 5s. And then, what's the ooh about?
That's a lot of chicken.
Yeah, well, you don't have it all.
You're taking some home. Oh, this is for the table? You can't order for the table. You got to order for you.
No, I'm saying, but no, because normally when I go, when when I go there and we will get, like, I'll talk about whatever you want.
15 wings kills 3.75 chickens.
Okay, so I'll only give 15 wings. Okay, so I'll give 15. So
you're gonna kill three and 3/4 of a chicken.
I'm probably gonna do based on.
I am the table wife. I am the table when we go to B-Dubs.
I like the Asian zing. I would get
Asian zing's good.
Blazing knockout sauce.
Blazing knockout.
Okay, listen. What is? Okay. And
I'm not judging. I'm just repeating.
Okay, you're just repeating. And then I might get the Nashville hot sauce.
Nashville hot's good. Nashville hot's really good. I like that. That's the hottest one. You would not get blazing sauce, is what Sierra is saying right in the chat right now. Are you gonna stand for this slander?
I would. Sierra and I we'll just split the blazing hot and see who finishes first.
Come on now.
All right.
Both of you guys just meet in the middle at my house. We'll go over to the Buffalo Wild Wings that's local. It might as well be. It's pretty close to the middle. It's just fine. It's fine. Just come down.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we'll do a live podcast from Buffalo Wild Wings. We'll do a live podcast from Buffalo Wild Wings. I have the wireless mics to do it. We could do it.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of do like a Hot Ones, the Last Dab
like
style.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about Nintendo stuff as we go through it.
Or we could just talk about anything else.
I mean, we could talk about anything else, but we're on a Nintendo podcast. Why would we?
That's a good point.
This is our content. It's not chicken content. As much as we've gotten out of this.
We're looking at this Buffalo Wild Wing menu. Mm-hmm. I completely forgot we were recording the podcast for a second because I was just talking about the different flavors. And yeah, absolutely.
Thanks, Chris.
Are you gonna?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Are we going to? Would you have one of the Blazing Hot?
I would eat a blazing hot. It wouldn't be my go-to flavor though. I will be honest. Like it would be like one of those that like I would try just to see how much does it hurt me later.
We're all about to find out. We're all gonna have one, except for Court.
Courtney, she could handle it, but she would be looking at us. I'll tell you exactly. Okay, so when we have spicy food here at the house, anytime we have anything spicy, she sits there. She'll sit there in her chair at the dining room table, and I'll be sitting, across from her or to her side, depending on what chairs the kids have chosen. And I'll be looking at her, and she'll be going. And I'm like, are you okay? And she's like, I'm sweating. That's what she says every time she has something spicy. She goes, I'm sweating. Does spicy food make you sweat? Does it make you personally sweat? Is my question. Not necessarily. That's not a generality. But it's so good.
Yeah. So I would probably. I don't know. There was only one time where I did like a wing contest, and it was like at a bar. After we would be done work at back when I used to print maxi pad bags. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay,
but we'll gloss over that and head to this. It was called this it was like a bar called Perky, and so we would go to Perky after worky, and I got the hottest wing there. You had to eat 5 of them without, or I think it was 5 or 6 without drinking anything or eating anything else, and I did it, and I got a t-shirt, and it was marvelous. And then they gave me a bowl of ice cream afterwards. Thank you.
I'm proud of you. Way to win that t-shirt, dude.
Thank you very much. I won it, yes. But anyway, all of that is to say, yeah, I had ramen for the first time ever.
I gotta get rid of this person from the chat. I can't, for some reason my OBS updated and I can't delete people. I can't ban them. Let me ban, presidential team. Why am I banning the presidential team? Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Nerd. My OBS updated before I went live today for some reason, and I can't find my actual like mod chat situation rolling, unfortunately, and it doesn't actually show me my moderation icons, and I couldn't do anything about it. So thank you, chat, for doing that. No Orange Hulk here, no presidential team here. But no, like, I don't know, like, spicy food's good. It is kind of one of my go-tos. But I also struggle. Sakura was mentioning in the live chat, a bad case of the GERDs. I can't do spicy late at night, but I can do it in the afternoon or going into the early evening. But if I eat it any later, like, my entire throat gets absolutely annihilated by gastroesophageal reflux. disorder.
I don't have that, but
It sucks.
I do have a Star Crunch. I was gonna eat it. I mean, it's after 7 o'clock, but
You have it now. Have it now while we're doing the show. I mean, we spent 30 minutes talking about food. You're gonna need a snack at this point.
no,
You know?
I'm gonna reward myself with cheers. with Star
Listen, you can thank me later, but you know who we do need to thank right now? Those wonderful, marvelous supporters over at NintendoRewind.com. Before we dive into the show, we want to thank our generous supporters from over there. If you would like to directly support our content, guide what we are discussing, and get exclusive videos that won't be uploaded to our YouTube channel or ever uploaded, you can sign up to become a member. Plus, you get merch discounts, and every dollar spent on our merch also helps us continue to produce this show. There's even a tier that only costs $1 a month, and with it, you get a shout out here on the show. That said, I'd like to thank our members Calamity Nolan, Sierra Christian, and Shiny Bird for all their gracious support. Now, we're going to get back to the show. It was abrupt. That felt abrupt, and I don't like the way my segues feel abrupt sometimes. Like, I feel like I have segued them directly into the show as hard as I possibly can, and I hate it. But that being said, what are we talking about today, Chris?
You know, it's a great question. We would like to thank Sierra because we're about to get into the topic of the show, and that's usually when she mutes us. So,
yeah, she's gonna put us on a volume level of 1%. Volume level of 1%, and then just walk away from her phone for the next hour.
Yeah. But yes, the topic tonight, I mean, it kind of wrote itself with Nintendo going out of their way. And that was that Hollow Knight Silk Song got removed from the Nintendo's website.
It did, and I didn't put it in the end of the Nintendo news ticker. I totally forgot to do that. I meant to add that.
But don't worry, it came back. So that is a non-story.
And
the actual story is Nintendo hates us and is getting rid of the gold coins.
Is it anti-consumer? That's the question that I think we'll be asking kind of towards the end of it. But Chris is absolutely right. It's not only the gold points though. It's the other thing too that I've never actually purchased, but would purchase now that I'm going nearly all digital on my Switch 2. And that is the Nintendo game vouchers. So there were two things that got the axe today. We're going to be diving into a little bit of history of them, what they are, what you need to do with them if you currently have any now. But to kind of give you guys a little bit of an update, Nintendo to discontinue gold points. I mean, the real question that I think a lot of people, unless you're a Nintendo diehard, you may not realize what those gold points do or what you can do with them. I know even for me for the longest time, like I didn't even realize I could redeem them on physical titles. But to kind of catch you up on what they are, My Nintendo launched the My Nintendo Gold Points, the My Nintendo service in March of 2016, but it was kind of in an answer to the loss of the Club Nintendo stuff that was going on at the time. If you remember Club Nintendo, which I don't. I wasn't that hardcore into Nintendo. What was Club Nintendo, Chris? I know you were using it.
I was using Club Nintendo, and it was like they kind of had like a reward system where they actually had physical goods, and you would get the, in your GameCube game, or I guess GBA, and then I guess some DS.
GBA, GameCube.
Yeah.
And then early years of DS.
Yeah, they would give you codes, you could redeem them, and then they actually had physical prizes. And now when they do have physical prizes that you can use for the platinum coins, it's usually like little things that they would normally give away at like live events. Retail
incentives.
Yeah.
I remember I got a lot of really, really cool stuff. We had a Nintendo representative. Her name was Lori. She was amazing. Who would come by when I worked for GameStop, and she would have a whole bunch of like this. I mean, she had boxes upon boxes of just like this old stuff that you would see through Club Nintendo. That she would just kind of bring by my store because I was a Nintendo diehard and she knew it. I had so many Do you remember the Donkey Kong Country Returns banana bag that they had back in the day? I had so many of those in one store. I had close to like 130 of those that I was just trying to give away because she would come and offload it, and I would pick through it and take one of each thing and bring it home and let the kids kind of have it. Which was a mistake because most of the time that stuff would get misplaced. But you're absolutely right. Like they would have all these like really cool little knickknacks and things that like retail or live events would have.
Yeah. And not only that, but then they would have like the end of the year. If you got a certain number of points throughout the year, they would have an end of the year. I got like a Luigi's Mansion like statue because I was like a platinum member or whatever it was. Yeah. And then the next year, I guess, which is the last one I remember, where they gave you an option where you got something like a tote bag or something, or you got a digital download code for the Wii, and it was Punch Out, and you fought your trainer.
That's super cool. That is still super cool. But yeah, no, that was Club Nintendo's era, and then as an answer to that, when they discontinued Club Nintendo and wanted to go more of a digital style route, they created the My Nintendo loyalty program, and there were two types of currencies. One of them is platinum points, which, by the way, before we get deep into this, the platinum points aren't going anywhere right now as far as Nintendo has announced. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share my screen here for anybody on the live chat here. This is my current platinum point amount is 2,270. I don't have any gold points. But what you can do is you can use those platinum points and you can redeem them for physical items, digital items, a couple of things in Fire Emblem Heroes and Super Mario Run, but it gives you a whole lot of options. Physical rewards are always really, really cool. It's like the main thing that I save them up for if there's something new in here. And there's always been like a new way to be able to snag these. But the thing that we are talking about today is going to specifically be the gold points going away. And the gold points are your digital currency that allows you to get a cheaper rate on your video games. What I put into our notes here, the gold coins were created as a revision of the Wii U's Digital Deluxe program for all purchases that were made through the eShop, and it started in March of 2018. So if you purchased games, it would provide you with an amount of gold coins depending on how much the game cost. For physical games, it was typically 1% of the cost, and this was kind of to incentivize you to maybe go digital at the time. And for digital games, it was typically 5% of the cost of the game. Once you got those, you had 1 year to utilize those as a discount. So 1 gold point would equal 1 penny, essentially, on the eShop for the Nintendo Switch. But you would have a year to use those gold points to be able to get discounts on your future purchases. Now, yes?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Now, one of the things that that a lot of people didn't know is how to get those. There were two ways. Digital purchases would automatically net them into your My Nintendo account. But for physical games, you would actually have to manage the game that was on your Nintendo Switch, go into the My Nintendo segment, and redeem the gold points to get added to your account. For physical games, it was like 12 months after release that you had to be able to claim it. Although that was changed too, because in the early days, when they first did this program, there was no set deadline on how long you had to redeem those gold points. So you could redeem those, 2-3 years in, but within the last couple of years, they made that change to it needs to be a title within the last 12 months. Right. And it also wasn't set per cartridge either. So if, for instance, you worked at GameStop and you happen to bring your Nintendo Switch in and you plugged in a cartridge and you redeemed the gold points off of that cartridge, you could benefit off of it, and so could the next owner of that same cartridge. they changed that too to where it was a per cartridge thing, and I don't know where they decided to do that. I don't know why they decided to do that. Not that I had anything to do with what I just described, but the amount of gold points that you could rack up and redeem were absolutely insane, and it did provide some really, really solid discounts. Now, that's kind of the history of it. And just to let you know, there has been an important notice that went out. Chris, what was that important notice, my good sir?
Oh, gosh. March 25th is going to be the end of the My Nintendo Gold Points. I believe it's in every region.
So, I think it is.
No matter where you live, you're not going to be able to get them anymore. Which I guess if you're on the West Coast, it's the 24th, and then the 25th in Japan.
24th, 9:30 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time of March. So a little over a month away until that point. Actually, a little under a month away at this point, I think, isn't it? No, a little over a month. So they give you a month's heads up. They did put out this really handy chart on it. That kind of describes what the program changes are and how it's going into effect. But the bullet points that they have up here kind of really describe it the most effectively. Gold points will no longer be earned for digital purchases on the eShop after 9:30 p.m. Gold points will no longer be earned on physical games that release after 3/24/2025. For physical games that released on or before that, they may still be earned by registering your eligible titles within 1 year of the original release date of the game. So you will still be able to get those on stuff like Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Correct me if I'm wrong, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, I think, will still qualify for that program, right? Because it isn't. That releases on the... Wait, what day does that release? Chronicles Definitive Edition. Release
the
day.
20th, yeah.
Okay, so you will still even be able to redeem it on that too?
Right. I almost feel like they picked that date because, March is the end of their quarter.
Fiscal, fiscal quarter.
And, yeah, so... And it's after... Because people would be even more upset if it was like 2 days before one of their games. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would be with this announcement. I'd be furious.
It gives people a week, so a week to buy it. So in order to get those points, and which if you get it physically, it's $1. If you get it digitally, it's $3.
60 cents. 60 cents.
Yeah.
Because it's 1% of the overall total MSRP
60,
for it.
Yeah, so you get like a
rounded
fifth
up
of what you would get from digital.
They also go on to state all earned gold points will continue to be valid and redeemable for 12 months after they are issued, with a couple of asterisks there, and I didn't read that deeply into it, but we will definitely be doing that as we go down this chart here. Which, again, they put this chart out, which was handy. So please note there are no changes to how you redeem the gold points you've already earned. Before the program changes, point expiration, valid for 12 months after you collect them. After the program changes, no changes. Purchasing digital content, eligible digital purchases made on the eShop, on Nintendo Switch, or on Nintendo.com where available will automatically earn gold points based on 5% of the total paid amount, excluding tax and any points or discounts used. Digital purchases will no longer earn gold points after the program changes. Pre-order of digital content. So if you pre-order eligible digital content on the eShop, on Nintendo Switch, or on Nintendo.com where available, you will automatically earn the gold points at the time of the transaction based on 5% of the total paid amount, excluding tax and any points. For pre-orders made before the program change, transactions occurring on or before that time when the cutoff is, excludes pre-orders using Nintendo Switch game vouchers, and transactions occurring on or after that will earn gold points by the end of day following the transaction, excluding pre-orders on Nintendo Switch game vouchers. After the program changes, pre-orders made after that will no longer earn gold points. Physical games, it's a very similar situation, except on this, it's 1% of the Nintendo eShop price. Nintendo eShop cards will get you gold points based on 5% of the total paid amount, which I didn't even realize eShop cards qualified for that. So you could really... well, actually, no, you couldn't. You could not double dip on that.
What do you mean?
I was thinking you could buy a Nintendo eShop card and then use that money to then also buy a game, so you get 5% of how much you use on the eShop card and 5% on the game itself. But it doesn't do that, because what it does is it treats it like a discount used when you're using currency from your account.
Right. Well, yeah, because if you want to get the max, you can select not to use any of your card, either thing, or you can go on the website. It'll tell you how many, like when they expire, and let's say you got a dollar expiring in the next week, you can just go in and only use $1 of your gold points and do it that way. And then, with these download codes, when you go to like Target or Walmart, I think Walmart does it, probably Best Buy, where they have like the same size as the eShop cards, but it's of the games.
Yes.
It's like of the physical games, and you get however many points that is worth.
Yep.
So
they do go on to say, for those eShop cards after the program changes, purchases using balances from the eShop cards will no longer earn gold points. Please be aware that some retailers may continue to sell Nintendo eShop cards that disclose earning gold points. You may still purchase and redeem those for their full value, but you will not earn gold points. Most likely, a lot of those places are going to refresh those cards, but places like Lowe's, I would expect them not to. But places like GameStop, Walmart, they have techs who come in, not even techs, I don't even know what their role would be called, who come in to refresh those cards. So likelihood is those will all be discarded anyway for the new messaging that they want to have on it. Download codes for digital content. Eligible download codes will automatically earn 5% of that, but after the program changes, they will no longer earn gold points. And then physical store, which I also didn't realize that if you go to Nintendo New York, it also does it there. Eligible purchases will earn gold points based on 1% of the total paid amount, excluding tax and points or any discounts used. And then purchases will no longer earn gold points. So I didn't know that you didn't have to go in and actually redeem it that way when you go to the physical Nintendo New York store. It's kind of cool.
Because you have like your card, you can like scan it to check in.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
On the asterisk that they had here, points due to expire will expire on the last day of each month Pacific Daylight Time. So if you purchased a game, let's say you purchased Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition in March, it will expire not on the 21st or whatever the day that it releases 12 months later. It will expire at the end of the following March if you redeem those. Right. So that is good to know.
I wouldn't even be surprised if Nintendo just doesn't even let you I wouldn't even be surprised if Nintendo doesn't even let you like have an option to use your gold coins on the Switch 2 eShop.
Mm-hmm. I would. I'm 100% with you. It'll probably go through in a system update.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I don't have like a crazy amount of fond memories for my gold points. My platinum points is really where it's at. I love my platinum points because I get really, really cool things with my platinum points. Keyword Savior in the live chat, seems that all corporations are just disinterested in appealing to customers. We're officially taken for granted. I don't disagree with that. That is a very important take that I think does need to be weighed. The question is, do you believe, Chris, for you, do you believe that this is I think it's hard to argue that it's not an anti-consumer practice, but I don't think it's necessarily malicious. It may not even be the worst thing in the world. And that's where I'm at with it is, I was getting 1 to 5% back on the cost of my games that I were buying digitally for free. It wasn't something that I was expecting to actually ever get. I don't get that whenever I shop on Steam, but it was a nice benefit. But, do you feel like this is anti-consumer, and does it bother you that this is something that they're looking to do?
Yeah, them doing this has made me decide not to get the Switch 2. I think, no, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, I mean, it's not great. It's terrible. Mainly because I do get everything digitally. So the idea that I get 5% back, on everything. I mean, the way like Microsoft rewards work
20 games get a
is
free full price game, you know?
right.
Like it is the way you map that out.
Yeah. Microsoft has a a reward system where it's like the more you get, the more of a discount the more that you get back.
Mm-hmm.
So if you spend a certain amount the previous year, then all next year you get 10%. So I would always get like 10% back from Xbox digital purchases.
Right.
So I would get get something on Xbox and then I'd get 10% back. Sony about maybe a month ago, they announced, or maybe it was like 2-3 weeks ago, they announced they're getting rid of their version of this, where because on PlayStation you had PlayStation Stars, and you would get points for buying games and digital purchases there, and they're getting rid of their version of this as well. And then Microsoft drastically scaled back their Microsoft rewards as well.
Yeah, they absolutely did. They absolutely did. As far as it goes, like I'm not super bothered by this because again, I did a whole lot of physical purchasing for this generation.
Right, yeah.
So 1%, I would have to buy 100 games to get one full price free game, essentially, right? So like that carryover was minimal. It was always nice being able to snag an indie title for just a few bucks cheaper and them still get the same amount of money out of me. Because most of the time that's what I use my gold points on. I never use them on like a main first party release. So like it does leave me questioning, why make this change? Is it affecting them monetarily really that much? If it is, just lower the amount that you're giving out, and still retain that discount. That said, do you think this leaves room for them to be looking at revamping a purchase loyalty reward system, or do you think Nintendo's kind of past that era and is just kind of moving on?
Here's what I think. If they do end up having something like this with the Switch 2, I think it'll be with like what people were talking about being like a higher tier reward system. But at the same time, I also feel like they're not even that interested in doing that.
No.
A lot of the reason for doing 5% as opposed to 1% was to get people to come more digital, and now more and more people are going digital and getting digital purchases that they don't even need to incentivize people to do it.
Right.
They're just doing
it. It is convenient.
That's right. And then we had the vouchers, which they had it came like 2 years after the Switch came out.
Mm-hmm.
And then for a while there it left America. It was still available in Europe and Japan,
right?
But it left America and then came back, and now it's, I mean, not that it's leaving, but
you actually bring up
many Switch 1 games.
A good point there, because there is another note here that came out. I'd found this in the annals of the internet from a couple different, the annals, not the anals, the annals of the internet. There were a couple of different places that were talking about this, and I could not find where it was. And it wasn't until I went to the Nintendo.com site for game vouchers. This is the British version, but I mean, even the American version has it for all the titles that are available that you can get via a voucher. So if you wanted to buy some stuff digitally at a cheaper rate, you could do that. As far as what the vouchers are, here's the thing. What the vouchers actually are is that they are a program where you could buy 2 vouchers for $100 and be able to get 2 games with those, essentially discounting those 2 titles $10, so saving $20 overall for getting 2 titles for things that are priced in that $60 range. Xenoblade Chronicles X, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, Fitness Boxing 3, Mario & Luigi Brothership. The list goes on, and then it continues to go all the way back to some of the earlier times of the releases on the Nintendo Switch. For what these vouchers are valid on, which there's still a lot of really good games on there. It isn't until you get down to the very bottom of this list that it gives you the notification, and this is the newest update according to Nintendo.com. Please note that Nintendo Switch game vouchers cannot be redeemed for Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive games. Users with an active Nintendo Switch Online membership will be able to purchase a set of 2 vouchers that can be redeemed for installation of downloadable Nintendo software. So, like, that was also a surprise because these are 2 things that were defined today on whether or not we're going to get that. Again, it's more of that anti-consumer practices that we're seeing where, like, and again, like, it's your business. Run it how you want to. Provide people the discounts you want to provide. If you don't see the value in it, and if it's not making a return, you don't really need to do it. But again, it kind of goes back to what you were talking about, Chris, where these were all incentives to get people to purchase digitally. And Nintendo has already seen that trend of that uptick in people going digital. I mean, I've even stated it myself. I will be going digital during Switch 2. I talked about it last week. I've talked about it on my own show, on my own stream, where I'm frustrated with dealing with retail because it's almost like they've driven me to do it. The amount of fulfillment stores are getting on day one is so minimal. If you want it, you definitely have to pre-order it. And in most cases, when you pre-order it, if you're going through something like an Amazon or a Walmart, they expect you to have it shipped to you instead of you being able to go into store to pick it up. I'm never giving GameStop another dime of my money. Like, it's just not going to happen. So I can't even go into there with a clear head and an honest heart to pre-order there. But it's just one of those things that, like, I feel like I've been forced to go that way. In a way that I didn't necessarily want to be, because I do like physical. I really love preserving physical media. It is important to the history of gaming. And for me to be able to retain my rights to those things versus only having those things on a platform that may or may not stay in existence over the next few years. I mean, we've seen how Nintendo usually does, like even going from, from DS to 3DS and from 3DS to the Wii and the Wii U, like nothing ever worked together. It doesn't have that like Steam ecosystem of video games where if I buy something on the Nintendo Switch, I will be able to play it on whatever Switch 5 or whatever it is they come out with years down the road. And that's frustrating because I want my stuff to work for as long as I own it, and I want to actually own it.
Yes, exactly. Well, then you got like, stuff where even if you did buy a physical version of a PS5 game, when PlayStation went down, you couldn't play them. You couldn't install it. You couldn't play them. So, I mean, normally if you get a Nintendo game, at least it was that way on the Switch, you would get a Nintendo game and you could load it up without being connected to the internet and you'd be able to play it. But I mean, a lot of that has to do with, especially with certain, like the latest Nintendo Switch games being done like a year and a half ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. There is a lot of worry just kind of from a lot of Nintendo diehards about, is the loss of Nintendo Gold Points and is the loss of the game voucher program going to be something that that indicates a price hike on Nintendo's titles? We've already seen that. Nintendo did that with Tears of the Kingdom. Granted, every release post Tears of the Kingdom really hasn't been like a big budget, gigantic title that I feel like they could have comfortably charged more than $60 for. I will assure you, like, I was frustrated with the Mario vs. Donkey Kong release. It was $50 for that title. That game was $40 back in the day when it came out on the GBA, and then it somehow got up to $50 for the Nintendo Switch because it was a full remake.
On the GBA.
Yeah, 30, even worse. So a $20 price hike comparatively, but it was not a $70 title. right? Princess Peach Showtime, not a $70 title. Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. They took 30 of my total 60 frames and made it a 30 frame per second game. So they should have charged me half the price for it, but instead they charged me the full $60 for it. There are a whole bunch of different factors into that, and the reason that I think we will be seeing those $70 games start to come from Nintendo is not because of the game vouchers and the gold points going away, but because of the cost that the market has decided to align with at $70. And Xbox, PlayStation, they've already done it. Nintendo has basically already done it with Tears of the Kingdom. There's no reason they don't go $70, but I don't think that the My Nintendo gold points and the game vouchers has anything to do with that. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I don't think they have. I agree. I would say that they don't have anything to do with, like, they're a separate thing. I think, yeah, I remember, like, on the N64. I mean, you would have those games like FIFA 64 came out, and it was like $70, and it was like some of those games, like the SNES, like that was like before they had kind of like standard
standard MSRP across the market.
Right, but I mean, even for the Switch, like we got Nintendo's so just in their mindset, they got their mind made up, and they were like, listen, this is the price of this game, and we're going to keep it at that. Like, I think
forever. Forever.
Yeah, even like Sushi Striker, right? That was $40 on 3DS and $50 as a $50 Switch game. And then it like had its like biggest sale ever recently, and I think it was like $37 or 40. It was like 39 or $37, something like that. That there's like a sale website that'll tell you like the lowest price it ever had, and it's never been like, if that game were like $10, I feel like a lot of people would dive in. But the fact that you're like, oh, the game's pretty good, however, it's either $50 or you can use a voucher, or you know what, you can spend $50 on the game that is not as good as the 3DS version.
This game came out in 2018. I've got it pulled up here. 2018, still $50. And I mean, I can assure you, this is not a $50 title. In my opinion, this is not a $50 title. It's barely a $40 title, but that's just my honest opinion. And I know it is a decent game, but man, like $40 for this, for this type of game.
Oh yeah. Well, okay, I'm looking it up right now. Okay. The cheapest it's ever been on the eShop is $35. Oh no, 24. One time it was half off for $24.88. However, the physical version for a while there, it was $4.41 for a little bit at certain places because they were just trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. I mean, it was backstock, so they clearanced out at Target. It is what it is.
Like I said, I mean, it's a lot of moving around touch controls. So I played a lot of it on both the 3DS and Switch, and I like it better on the Switch or the 3DS.
On the 3DS version of it.
Yeah,
it is definitely a 3DS
sliding
game.
Things together, and you can definitely tell it was made with the 3DS in mind.
With the pin, the actual pin instead of the capacitive the capacitive touch, not the digitized touch or whatever they call it for the Switch. Oh man, it is hard for me. It is hard for me as a consumer to go, okay, well that's fine. Like I understand it. Like Emperor Gombessa says in the live chat, Nintendo knows we'll pay more for less and not complain, so they're going to milk their fans as much as possible. And I mean, they're not wrong. Gombessa's not wrong from that standpoint. It is frustrating to see, like, even PlayStation's most huge fandom video games still get a discount, and when they've been out a while. But games like that, $50 still. 1-2 Switch is another one that I have such a hard time saying is worth it. It should have been a pack-in tech demo for the Nintendo Switch. It really should have. And I think it would have went a long way, and people would have been more optimistic and look back on that game specifically more fondly. But it's still $50. And if we can say anything, and don't get me wrong, like I'm still a Nintendo fanboy at heart. I still love Nintendo. The quality of game that they put out sometimes can be questionable. You know, Sushido, Way of the Sushi Striker. But
I like that game.
But quality of game could be questionable at times. But then you have, but for the most part, Nintendo's litany of video games that they have came out, their legacy, most of those games are still very, very good games, all the way back to the NES era. Do I think that Super Mario Brothers 3 is worth, $80, $70, $60 today? No, not at all. It's been in existence for, 35 years. But do I think that Super Mario Odyssey deserves to still be at $60? Probably, yeah. Still yet. I would say yeah. But would it be nice to see it go lower than $40 on a random sale? And not even 40. It never goes below 43, I've noticed. Like, that game never goes below $43.99 on its sales for Super Mario Odyssey. Do I think that it deserves to have a sale every now and again? Yes, because I would love to see more people who maybe can't afford to pay that $60 be able to snag that game. Also, the game vouchers. I would love to see people be able to get that, at least $10 off. And the game vouchers are still good on Nintendo Switch 1. Who knows what we'll see with Nintendo Switch 2?
I'll tell you what, those vouchers were a great deal because you would get the vouchers, right? Mm-hmm. So it would be $100.
Mm-hmm.
So you would get $250 from buying that, right?
Yeah.
Digitally. So you get $2.50 or $2.50 off a future purchase. Okay, so you could use the gold coins for V-Bucks or whatever, right. But you wouldn't earn gold coins on DLC. You don't earn gold coins on in-game, purchasing in-game items.
Mm-mm.
But yes, it was kind of just I don't even know what their plan is. Like, I could see not wanting them. Obviously, you're not gonna if the games are $70 a piece. You would, if you were to have a voucher program to get people to buy more things digitally, you would want to raise the price of that.
Yeah.
From what?
So what is it? $120 then?
Yeah, because it would be. Well, yeah.
It's not comfy marketing.
You would want it to be 120, right? But if
it's so much easier to go, throw a Benjamin down.
$9.99, yeah. But the fact that you could say 20, you could still say save $20 this way. But I don't think they're going to do it at launch.
No, there's no need to either. And that is the clincher here. And that's kind of what, if I were to have been asked, what do I think is going to happen in the future? Do I think Nintendo's going to revamp this program? Is it going to be something that they revisit in the future? The answer for me is unequivocally and very loudly no. Like, I don't see them revisiting game vouchers for anyone in the future. I don't see that coming back to America for Switch 2. I don't see that going European for Switch 2. I don't see that going into Japan for Switch 2. Like, game vouchers are gone. I fully believe that. Game vouchers are gone. I think that's even what I've put in the title for the stream today. Say goodbye to gold points and game vouchers. Yeah, say goodbye to gold points and vouchers. Like, I don't think those are coming back. Now, as far as the gold points go, that is something that I think could be visited, but we talked about it earlier in the show that it's just an incentive to get people to go digital because they paid out so much more and they don't really have to do that. It would be nice if they did, but I don't see them doing gold points anymore. What I see more likely is redemption for platinum points. That's what I see more likely than anything, is if you buy a physical game or a digital game, you get platinum points that will not be used for discounts on games anymore. I could see them throwing
what digital, like, avatars and things like that.
NSO
Maybe,
icons or
maybe they have themes.
Mm-hmm. Which would be cool. I don't think they'll do that. Nintendo's not really about customizing your stuff. They don't really care. They used to be during the 3DS days, and then that just went out the window.
They made a game out of it.
Yeah, they did.
Had the little rabbit.
They
that was
really
great.
Did. I miss those days where
those
it was like,
gotcha
hey,
machines. Yeah,
you own this thing. You can customize it. Faceplates for the 3DS, themes for the 3DS, like buttons and skins and all this other stuff. It was so good.
Did you see, Overwatch is going back to loot boxes?
But why do they even release Overwatch 2 at this point?
I know, yeah.
I know this is an aside, but like they literally got rid of roll queue. They're bringing back 6v6. They're going back to loot boxes. Just go back to Overwatch 1 already, as an aside.
Right, yeah.
But
completely unrelated to the rest, but yeah.
Oh man, but that's what I really think is more than likely is that we'll see encouragement for you to engage with their products outside of the Nintendo Switch ecosystem too, and maybe you get platinum points for listening on the NSO music app. Maybe they give you unlocks on the NSO app to get that game's soundtrack for Nintendo Music. Maybe they give you like an exclusive thing if you go to Super Nintendo World.
Nintendo Music. Yeah.
Listen, I'm just theory crafting here, but ultimately there's no need and no reason for them to offer you any kind of discount going forward. Nintendo does not value you as a customer. They do. Yeah. They do. Mm-hmm. If you're spending money.
I think instead of letting you customize your, let's say, instead of customizing your, like, the theme of the system, because they want to keep the OS
they
down.
Let you customize Alarmo.
Well, yeah, but they want to let you customize your profile so that you can see it in the app on your phone, and then you would just be able to customize it, almost kind of like how you can customize your
Discord profile.
Yeah, but they have not only your avatar, because you can have the stuff around it, but then Nintendo, they also let you what was it, the NES championships?
Yeah,
remember they would let you put like different pins that you
that would have been cool.
That would be cool if you could do something like that on your profile.
Is that Nintendo's answer to trophies and achievements? Is pins?
Pins, yeah. I remember there was a rumor before the Wii U came out that they were working on a system called the Stars system. It was like going to be stars.
That would track with Nintendo. That absolutely would track. I don't know. Like, there is so much that, like, I'm disappointed to see it go. I am disappointed to see it go. But I'm not surprised, and I don't see them following this up with anything of any kind of monetary value ultimately. And I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I don't think I am, because I do think at the end of the day, this is an anti-consumer practice, and Nintendo needs to make money. They don't need to. They want to. Every business wants to. I don't blame them. But I don't see them doing anything extra with it.
No. And I don't feel like they, not only do they not feel like they are, but they're definitely not incentivized to do it.
No.
It would be one thing if everyone was like, oh, digital sales are down. If they were to this digital sales were to ever dip, where it's like, oh, people don't want to buy games on Switch, digital games. I could see them doing it then, like in a few years from now or something, but on the Switch too. But I don't think. And
No.
if they do the voucher thing, yeah, it wouldn't be for a few years.
Nope, definitely not. It's gonna be a while. That being said, I mean, you can still get your game vouchers today. They're still available for you to be able to use on things like Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, or any of the other litany of backlog games that Nintendo's released. But I would not expect them to be good for anything going forward, because Nintendo hasn't gotten anything announced until April 2nd that anything else is coming from them. And I think likely it is full steam ahead on Nintendo Switch 2. They don't have room in their marketing plans to do anything but Nintendo Switch 2 stuff right now. So, wait with bated breath on what else is coming to Nintendo Switch 1 from the House of Nintendo. I was expecting a Direct this month, but I mean, we're sitting on the 18th, and it could still happen. They could still come out and post a tweet saying, hey, join us for a Nintendo Switch 1 Direct on the 20th of February. But I'm not exactly optimistic that that's happening this month, to be completely honest. I don't think it's out of the way, but I don't think it's coming. So, with that being said, I wouldn't expect a whole lot of game voucher games to really pop in for you to be able to use game vouchers on. So if you like what's on that list already, which there is a full list of games that are available for the game vouchers, you can go check that on Nintendo.com. Chris?
Exactly. Yes.
Speaking of games that we're waiting on and looking to come out, we've got one more segment in this show, and it is the Nintendo Fast Forward. What are you excited to tell people about what's coming out?
Oh gosh, let me tell you something. I'm so excited. I
Well,
can't
let's
wait
do
to
it.
tell you about it.
Let's see if it plays. Oh, it played! It's a miracle. All right, we got a couple of games that are coming out today, Chris. What are those games? How much are they? When are they out? You tell the people.
Here's the thing. We'll go with a game that comes out not today, but a week from today. So by the time you're listening to us next week, this game will be out, and it is none other than Ninja 5-0, and that is, it is like, what is the name of their engine? It's limited run games. They have like their
Carbon engine,
yeah.
I think is what it is.
And yeah, it's got like the ability to rewind and stuff like that. It's basically, I mean, it is kind of seems like almost like a bare bones version of the game, where it's just the game with the rewind function. And it is Ninja 5-0. It was one of those like, oh, you got to check this game out on the Game Boy Advance. But yeah, it was pretty good back then.
Also,
Konami.
for our foreign folks, it was called Ninja Cop in the PAL regions. So we got Ninja 5-0, which I would argue is probably a better name than Ninja Cop. Ninja Cop's kind of boring. Ninja 5-0, that's a pretty good take on it.
Right. Yeah. A Ninja Cop. It was a Hudson joint, Hudson Soft, but Konami bought them, so they now have the rights. So, but yeah, it was, it's $24.99, and it is, like I said, out on the 25th. Isn't it wild? We're almost done with February.
I can't believe it
already.
I cannot believe it. It is kind of insane that February has came and gone already in so many good ways, and so many bad ways. I don't want to see the end of February, and I'm too. The time just keeps marching forward. You know what else marches forward?
What else?
Godzilla.
Godzilla out here living their lives. I'll tell you what, though. So the other game was a Game Boy Advance game. This is almost like Advance Wars sort of battles that you would do, and it's kind of like takes place on somebody's table, and like there's like different stuff around, and then you're going through playing it that way. But yeah, pretty exciting. And by exciting, I mean if you're really a big fan of Godzilla, go ahead and grab it. Otherwise, You know what? I'll be honest. It doesn't look like there's going to be much next week either. So
I'm
just
kind of
hang
this
on.
slow
there.
drip feed is really hard for Nintendo Switch. You know, the death throes is the swan song of Nintendo Switch. I am a little bit worried about what we've got left in the tank. Just to be completely honest, there's not any big heavy hitters. But yep, no, Voxel Wars. It is very similar. Sakura brings up in the live chat, reminds her of Into the Breach. Into the Breach, Final Fantasy Tactics, Advance Wars, all that same kind of genre, but done with like a Minecraft aesthetic.
Yeah, the old voxels.
1.1 gigs, man, that's a big game. It's a big game. Stuff is just not getting optimized for the Nintendo Switch in its death throes either. So I don't know.
Godzilla. I mean, Godzilla takes up a lot of space. Okay,
He is a big boy. He is absolutely a big boy. It's not his fault. But geez, 1.1 gigs. Come on now, you can optimize your game better than that.
well, here's the thing. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is on Steam. It is 3 gigs. So I guess
size in 2025 AAA game.
Yeah, they got it down. That's what they spent the whole time, getting it down to 1 gig.
Yeah, that's why it was. That was why it was from 2023 all the way to now. Like that's why it took so long.
Right. Yeah, they were like, "Please, this is our only option."
Actually, out of curiosity, how much is Voxel Wars Godzilla? How much space does it take on Steam?
3 gigs. That's what I just said.
Oh, okay. So I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. So it was 3 gigs, and now it is coming out.
They compressed it down by 2/3. I'll give them that.
It is also on. It's also it's coming out on. It's out tomorrow for $14.99, but it's on sale on Steam right now for $8.99. So take that.
Figure out where you want to spend your money. Figure out where you want to spend your money.
Because you can pre-order the game right now for $14.99, but I don't know why they would have it on sale at the exact same time it's coming out. Because this sale runs on Steam until February 27th.
I think ultimately, like if they thought they were going to be able to make some money on it, well, they are. It's the Switch tags. It's exactly what it is. It's the Switch tags. They got to make their money off of there, and they have to keep it high on there because they don't make as much money as they do on Steam.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to Steam. We're now Steam Rewind. This is who we are.
Yeah, we're Nintendo Rewind, but
we're waiting for the Steam Deck 2.
Comparing it to the Switch, dude.
But no, that is everything from this week. Everything that you need to know. If you did not pay attention to the news ticker down below, please pay attention to it. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff. Deltarune chapters 3 and 4 still in console testing. As stated by Toby Fox, Alarmos are now available for you to be able to buy. You don't even have to be a Nintendo Switch Online customer to be able to purchase those in limited supply. And then also Wario Land 4. Hit the NSOGBA app if you are a Nintendo Switch Online expansion pass holder. You'll be able to play some Wario Land 4 on there. But Chris, that does it for the show. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about? Any place you want to point them to?
Just Super Nintendo on pretty much everything. Shout out to it.
Absolutely.
And yeah. How about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me over at nerdwireplays.com for links to all of my social media garbage, and I'm live pretty much nightly over on twitch.tv/nerdwireplays. I do have one thing that I do want to plug though, and this weekend on Saturday, my time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I will be live for a charity event called Save and Raid. It is a charity event that benefits the organization known as Save Suicide Awareness Voices for Education. Basically what they do is they utilize the funds to provide education resources for suicide survivors, victims of attempted suicide, and then even beyond that, mental health and wellness training for people to learn how to help with that. If you would like to tune in and watch me, I am live at 6 p.m. On Saturday. Chris will be joining me that day to provide co-commentary on my bad Diablo 2 gameplay, which is what I'm anticipating that I'm going to be playing. Also of note, they have already raised. Our goal is $15,000 this year. They have already raised, and the event hasn't even started, $1,192. The event actually starts over on, I'm going to give a shout out here to Artium Havoc. That is where the event will be starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with Eric Mishi, the Chief Executive Officer of Save, to kick off the event in Diablo 1. We're going to be playing through Diablo 1, Diablo Hellfire, Diablo 2, and Diablo Lord of Destruction. All the way through all of that, passing along our saves to the next person. It's kind of a relay race where we try to beat that entire series of games playing 1 hour at a time, and I get to be a participant with that. There's a lot of cool people that are going to be a part of it as well. People like Sakura, people like Kiatic, people like Tenderly, and Team Wildwood, and a whole bunch of other people that you guys may have seen in the chat. Please do not miss any of that event. It is for a good cause. Please come hang out with us. saveandraid.org. It's going to be a good time. But you can catch all of our past episodes for Nintendo Rewind in video form on YouTube at youtube.com/@the-Nintendo-Rewind. Visit our site for links to all of our social media garbage, nintendorewind.com. Maybe even be able to sign up to support the show through memberships, or maybe buy a little bit of our merchy merch and wear us on your body. And that's also where you'd be able to get the bonus content if you sign up to support the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, you can catch us live every week right here on Twitch and on YouTube, Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Chris, thank you for being here. Chat, thank you guys for engaging with us. And we will catch you next Tuesday. Same time, same place. Remember, be kind, please rewind, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Toodaloo.